As far as sexuality and living it up, you have Cliff's line, I'm going to destroy the quote exactly, but it's something like, I love this town. It's like everyone's, it's like a bunch of kids who are partying in their house and staying up late waiting for their parents to come home at any minute, and he says, I love this town. It's so kind of debauched. And at the end, of course, says, as we were dancing, Sally Bowles and I were dancing, and we were fast asleep because there's something, maybe it's just not even conscious, but in the zeitgeist of a country that's sort of like, get all the drugs and sexiness and out of us that we can because something horrible is coming.
Within Cliff's journey, he falls in love with Sally Bowles. He encounters Bobby, who he's known from London and had something with in London. We're not told entirely what it might be, but definitely something verging on the romantic, at least, and definitely sexual. Where I see him mostly is feeling sexually drawn toward men, more so than women to a degree, but falling in love with women a little more easily than with men. And so I think that's where he feels like he's negotiating where he actually lands within that whole landscape.
The subtleties of Ernst's character, who makes that subtle pass there at Bill, Cliff, in his room there, sort of, we know who he is, seems like a nice guy, wants to help Cliff out, maybe he's got somewhere to send him for money or some connection, we don't know. Again, very smartly written, because we think maybe Ernst is a rebel against, what we know are the inevitable dark powers. I don't know if that was in the original script, but, the line is, we will acquaint with one another. Maybe in 1960 plus, it was, we'll hang out, buddy. But Sam gets away with, we will acquaint. He puts his hand gently on his head, he gets turned down. So it's a nice little hypocritical moment there to see that Ernst obviously was a human being willing to express his sexuality, his feelings, love in any way, but then of course chooses this dark, more narrow path,
Homosexuality and its the movement to have it accepted as a general part of society as we know it has come a long way, even since the first iteration of this revival, since the late 90s into there's a lot that's happened, and it's definitely inspired a little more freedom to let Cliff's experience of his sexuality be a little less defined, as specifically being led to males or females. It's kind of muddier, and he's figuring it out, and becomes a thing that's specific to him as opposed to fitting one definition. And we're talking about human beings and the human experience, and to be able to distill it down to a soundbite or one mode of one perspective does it a disservice.